Signs of life, well, let's start with Pope Francis, right? He's bringing a wonderful pastoral tone to the church worldwide. In many ways, he kind of legislates without legislation, right? He's kind of setting a tone of accompaniment, of joy. It was his first pastoral exhortation was actually entitled The Joy of the Gospel. And he calls us to renew that joy. But he also focuses on that the place where that joy is renewed is in the encounter with Christ, the risen Christ, as we celebrate now in this season, right? The joy of the gospel, of the good news that even in the midst of death comes life. And that overall to the heart makes the heart will jump with joy and jump with hope. So the most important part of this time is that the Easter time calls us to radical hope. Really, that's, in many ways, is at the heart of the Christian, right? Because the Christian heart is able to find hope in the midst of despair. And that's rooted in the very Paschal mystery that we have just so joyfully celebrated. The joy, Pope Francis will say a lot of times, is not rooted in the things that happen, right? Because the things that happen sometimes actually make us sad, right? And our challenges challenge us. So our joys and our happiness is not rooted in that everything is going right. That's not where it's at. It's rooted actually in the fact that a dead man rose back to life, right? That even when things get difficult and dark and challenging, that even in the midst of that, we could find that God's love and power will help us to overcome those moments. And that ultimately is at the center of the Christian heart and Christian spirituality. And the world around us is filled with some of that hope, right? In the people we serve, in the people who accompany us, and the people who love us and who we love, that have been in our lives in good moments and bad and highs and lows. They are symbols, signs of God's love for us and that He believes in us. And that brings us hope. We encounter Christ in our prayer, in the celebration of our sacraments, and encountering Him in His Word, but also we find it so concretely in the people in our lives. Christian people are people rooted in the resurrection, right? It is what defines who we are. Good Friday came and went, but the story didn't end there. The story actually began there in many ways, right? That even in that dark day, even when we celebrated, when we just celebrated and commemorated the Passion, we do it as people who know that it didn't end there. So it's not really a sad day. It's to commemorate what love looks like, and love is sacrificial, but we know the end of the story. We know that it did not end there. Well, one of the sources of joy for the church are actually our young adults, right? There is a remnant, a powerful remnant, a group of them that, oftentimes we say, well, our young people and our young adults, they have no faith. And I respond to that as, that's not true. That's not true. There's actually an incredible group here in this diocese, Archdiocese of Philadelphia, of young adults who have a vibrant faith, who love their Lord, who love the church, and celebrate that. And that, if that isn't hope, I don't know what else is.